Part 2 of the time my husband left me while 8 weeks pregnant, stranded at LAX. Go back and watch part 1. This is part 2. Husband just pulls away. Bye-bye, deuces. I'm 8 weeks pregnant, stranded in an airport, okay? I am hot and sweaty. Let's turn on some air. As a fun little side note, I begin 8 weeks pregnant to go through checkout. And I throw my purse, and my purse goes through the little scanner. And security comes and pulls me aside and does like this heavy search. They're like frantically dumping my bag. I've got a bottle of prenatal pills. They dump the prenatal pills all over this metal table, and with like their batons, they're like sorting through them, like lining them up, or like they're about to snort a line of my prenatal vitamins or something. And I had also mixed like Zyrtec or something in with it, like just in the same bottle. And so they're like, what are these extra pills in this bottle? They thought I was some druggie. You wanna know why? Because in my purse I had brass knucks, and I didn't know that they were a weapon and that they were illegal to carry. But here's the clincher. I don't know if this is still the way that it is. Brass knucks were sold at the time as belt buckles, okay? But you know, there were brass knucks, and I haven't shared any of how I grew up, but I was a brass knuck girl, right? So I have these brass knucks. I would not have legally gotten in trouble had I had the belt clasp attachment floating in my purse. I'd been like, oh no, that's my belt buckle. But I didn't know that. So I have these brass knucks. 8 weeks pregnant, my husband has just left me stranded at an airport. I'm keeping my composure, but crying. I get handcuffed. I get put in the back of a police car at LAX and driven off of the airport property to the closest police station. I get put in a cell, and they start to question me. This super polite police officer comes up, and he's like, okay, like, are you under the influence of anything? No. Like, were you hurt in any way? Like, were you mishandled by the officers who brought you in here? Like, are you healthy? Do you have any injuries? And so at some point I'm just like, well, I'm like 8 weeks pregnant, and my husband just left me at the airport, and then you guys arrested me. Like, and I don't know if this officer had pity on me or if it was because I was 8 weeks pregnant, either or, but he promptly, without a word, opened up that jail cell, put me back in the police car, and brought me right back to LAX. And I did not miss my plane to Vegas. I made my flight. And so then I'm in Vegas. What do I do? And so I just began calling people, and I couch hopped for a little bit. I did end up calling my mother, who I'd been no contact with since the age of 14. So at this point I'm 19. I think I was 19 years old at this point. So it's been 4 or 5 years of no contact. And I'm like, hey mom, I need to like crash on the couch. They had a whole guest house. I'm like, I need to crash in the guest area, back room. And she's like, yeah, only if you get an abortion. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So I go there for a couple weeks until I can figure out what to do. And she's under the impression that that's what I'm gonna do. I end up calling my brother and his wife. My brother is 12 years older than me. And remember in part 1 how I said I was recently saved? They're who helped lead me to the Lord. So I call them, and him and his wife, because they're like the only parental figures that I know. And I'm like, oh, what am I supposed to do? At this point, they're living in Texas. And my sister-in-law, I didn't know, but they were going through fertility struggles, and they had for years. And they were then, at the time, had just started the adoption process of like setting up their adoption profile and stuff like this. And again, I didn't know. So immediately my sister-in-law, without hesitation, is like, let us adopt. Like, please don't have an abortion. And which I wasn't thinking about, but I had told them how my mom was pushing that. And they were like, please don't have an abortion. Like, we will buy you a ticket to Texas right now. Like, come, we'll take care of you. Let us adopt this baby. And that's what I did. I got the next ticket out to Austin, Texas, and I lived with them for the duration of my pregnancy. My sister-in-law and I did Lamaze classes together. We did the hospital tour. She took me to every single prenatal appointment. I'm not gonna cry. She was there for everything. And they obviously took beautiful care of me, and they were there for the birth. Don't worry, it wasn't anything weird. They put up a big sheet on my legs, and my brother stayed back here. So he was at a safe viewing, because we're not about to scar each other, okay? Like, we're siblings, but we're not those kind of siblings, okay? So like, so my brother was able to be in the room for the birth of his child. That's weird, but you get it. Immediately, they put the baby on my lap, and I remember just freezing and not knowing what to do. And my sister-in-law, I remember her saying, it's okay to touch her. And so anyways, beautiful. God ordained it beautifully. Come release time, my sister-in-law's parents picked me up from the hospital, and I went home with them to recover temporarily. And the baby obviously immediately went home with my brother and his wife. I think it was like the next day or something, we were at the attorney's office signing the official papers. She was born in June, 18 years ago. She turned 18 this year. I'm not gonna cry. I'll insert a picture, but I'm gonna cover her face for privacy. I mean, I'm sure I could miss her now. She probably doesn't care. But she just graduated high school this year, and we got to visit. As far as my ex-husband goes, he left me because he didn't want, he was like, I'm not ready for a family. I want to keep this career and making this good money that I have. I see a future working for the mob. I don't know. Okay. He leaves me. He eventually, at some point when I was pregnant and living in Texas, he sent me divorce papers, because I was like, this is on you. Like, so I signed those divorce papers, and we got divorced, I think, before I ever had the baby. Okay. He promptly, that job ended somehow. And so he lands up back in his original state, which is not Las Vegas, Nevada. Is from Oregon. He's from Oregon. He lands back up in his OG state and knocks up a 16-year-old. All right. He knocks her up, and then because he knocks her up, he's like 18 or 19. He marries her. Like, her parent, I'm pretty sure her daddy was a pastor. I could have this wrong. But he knocks her up, marries her. I don't know how long they lasted before they got a divorce. He marries someone else, has 2 children with her. They are now divorced. And I just saw on the Book of Faces, like, a week ago, that he got remarried. So this is his 4th marriage. And if you're, that's 4, yeah. If you're asking, Andrea, like, why are you friends on Facebook? We weren't until, like, he added me like a month ago on Facebook. Friend requested me. Probably because, like, a year ago, so I have been in baby girl's life this entire time, right? He has not. A couple years ago, I think he reached out to her, and they had started to build a relationship. I don't know anything about it. That's between her and him. That's none of my business. But I think because of that, maybe because he sees us interact or something, I don't know, for whatever reason, he added me on Facebook. And of course, I'm gonna be like, add, because I have a really good life. I went on to marry an amazing man. We have 4 children together. We've been married 16 years. So yeah, I'm gonna accept that, because look what you missed out on, buddy. Like, I dodged a bullet, and you really screwed the pooch. So yeah, add, agree, yes, accept, request. But anyways, yeah. Short story long, that's the time I got stranded 8 weeks pregnant at LAX, and I still haven't seen him since. And God is good, and he worked it all out for his good, and I still get to be in that beautiful baby girl's life 18 years later. And yeah, the end. Also, here's the finished look. Thank you very much. Bye.